As more information comes out about Daniel Muir's 14-year-old son, Bryson Muir, we have to ask ourselves this question. Is Bryson gay? There's a reason I'm asking that, folks. This is interpretation of Old Testament law in Leviticus talking about putting homosexuals to death. Now, Christians understand that we don't live under the law. However, these black Hebrew sects really depend on Old Testament law to govern their lives, even though they claim that Jesus is the Messiah. Having said that, watch this.
Disturbing details about the Muir home. Cody Fisher shares their findings.
Daniel and Kristen Muir walked into a Cass County courtroom in orange jumpsuits just hours after their home was raided by an Indiana State Police SWAT team. During that raid, ISP found their son, who had been missing for 18 days and the subject of a silver alert. Kristen Muir was tearful in the courtroom as the judge sternly denied the couple bond. According to court documents, Daniel Muir had a conversation with his brother-in-law about his son. During the recorded conversation, Muir said he whooped his son like a grown man because of allegations that the teen had inappropriate contact with other children. Muir told his brother-in-law that if they lived in their religious homeland, that his son would be put to death for his acts. But since they live in the United States, they could not put him to death. On June 27th, Indiana State Police and the Department of Child Services met with the Muirs. During that meeting, Daniel and Kristen had different stories about how their missing son had a bruised eye. On the same day, DCS did a home inspection and interviewed several of the Muirs' children, who told them that their parents disciplined them by spanking them with belts.
Daniel Muir admitting to his brother-in-law that he found his 14-year-old son in a compromising position, and that by Hebrew Old Testament law, he would stone him to death or put him to death. But because he's in America, we can't kill our kids. So there's the problem with these cults. Now, another interesting fact is it's not just one NFL player. There are two involved in this cult, in the Straightway ministries that's sweeping the southern states of America and now obviously moved up into Indiana. Watch this.
Into this all day, and Max, it appears there is some connection between the foundation and two former Colts.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. Take a look at this property. It's huge, 120 plus acres, made up of several parcels that were all purchased back in 2020 by either Daniel Muir, the Bryson's father, or former Colts defensive end Robert Mathis. They spent close to $2 million on the property, and then in November of last year, each of those parcels was transferred over to what's called the Servant Leaders Foundation. Now, we couldn't find any registered business or nonprofit with that name. The foundation has some kind of connection with the Straightway Ministries, which is a Tennessee-based religious group. According to its website, they believe in a life separated from mainstream society, and they advocate for a return to biblical law. There have been some accusations that the group is a cult. Now, it's led by Pastor Charles Dowell, who spoke out on the raid today and threatened to get revenge. Listen.
The blowback from a false allegation probably ain't going to be too good, especially when you have the backing of the ministry behind you. Because, see, right now, all this seems to be at the forefront, and everybody seems to be pointing fingers and laughing and jeering and all those stuff. But you better believe the Straightway is not going to be taking any of this lying down. We coming. You better believe we coming.
We'll see what he means by that. Dowell said the
former Colt Robert Mathis, Daniel Muir, go in together to buy all this acreage, folks, at the tune of $2 million. And then they sign it over to Pastor Dowell. Now, I've had people come on and try to argue with me and tell me that this is not a cult. It's just black people living together, helping each other out. Well, since 40% of the people involved in this black Hebrew movement are white or Asian, you shoot that down right off the bat. They believe in polygamy. They do not believe in marriage certificates. They believe in home birth, no medical care, homeschooling your kids, and, well, killing your children if they're homosexual. So if you get behind that, well, then you know where to find them. Straightway Ministries. God bless you guys. We have to keep calling these insane people out, folks. Shine the light in the darkness. Occupy.